And hello everybody, welcome back to RFC News. Guys, this transfer window has got off to a lightning start. Rangers are not wasting any time whatsoever trying to get deals done ahead of the World Cup. Now, here on the channel, we've spoke quite a lot already about the Lawrence Shankland deal. Now, Lawrence Shankland deal is pretty much done. It's all but complete. Essentially just waiting for the announcement now for Lawrence Shankland. And a lot of people were asking, well, how much are we paying for him? We're paying absolutely haul. We've managed to get him for free. So it's essentially a risk-free signing. And I think an absolute fantastic signing. And actually probably 2 years 2 years late, but regardless, at least we've got this deal done. Now, don't go anywhere. Whilst Lawrence Shankland is completed, it does seem as though the club could be about to agree yet another deal, ladies and gentlemen, for a Premier League player. And also, there has been reports from a pretty decent journalist with regard to a player that could be making a shock return. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be going through both of these transfer stories. But as always, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So let's start with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I brought you this story to you yesterday. That was with regard to Dan Neil. Now, the Sun essentially this morning, as you can see, are saying that Rangers are closing in on second summer signing as Danny Rule targets midfielder to complement stunning Shankland swoop. So what's been said now by Scottish media is that Rangers are reportedly close this morning to agreeing terms with Dan Neil. The 24-year-old midfielder is out of contract with Sunderland this summer, so Rangers were interested in January, but Neil instead opted for a loan move to Ipswich. The fact that us being interested in Dan decided to go to Ipswich doesn't really tell you much good stuff, really, does it? The fact that a player shied away from potentially winning a title to go play in the Championship with Ipswich. But regardless about that, it does seemingly look like we are close to agreeing in terms with Dan, and it would be yet another risk-free signing. Now, again, I don't like these kind of signings, and I hope I'm eating my words this time next year, and we're talking about this player being the next best thing. However, these sorts of moves from sort of Championship players that can't really get into Premier League teams that often have never really worked out for us. I mean, I can't really think of one player in our recent history that's worked for. I mean, if someone can let me know down in the comments. I know people might say Jermaine, but he wasn't a Championship player. He's a Premier League, top level Premier League player who was just getting older. I just don't see it with these sorts of players. It never works out for us. But regardless, if he's going to be a Rangers player, then again, we're going to have to get behind him. But yeah, that's with regard to Dan Neil. Now, again, if you don't really like the sound Dan Neil, then you probably won't like the sound of this one. Ben Jacobs, a pretty good transfer, source, really has come out with an exclusive last night. It stated that Rangers have made a fresh approach to Josh Windass to discuss bringing him back to Ibrox. This follows an attempt in January, which Wrexham rebuffed, more driven by Danny Rule, who had Windass at Sheffield Wednesday. No club-to-club talks just yet. Wrexham had indicated in January that they didn't want to sell. But regardless of that, Josh Windass's name is emerging again as we go into the summer transfer window. Now, this is an interesting one, certainly, just because Danny, of course, did have him at Sheffield Wednesday. And actually, in the Championship, Josh Windass has been a good player, right? He's been very, very good, spoken very highly of at Sheffield Wednesday, done well at Wrexham. But when he was at Rangers, yes, he was a young boy. I mean, it was 10 years ago, probably, 10 years ago coming up now, really, that he was at Rangers. He was a good player for us. Don't get me wrong. He was a top goal scorer, I think, in one of the seasons in a very, very dark time. But certainly didn't seem like a player had the mentality to play for Rangers. And I've seen interviews after, since he's left. He didn't really seemingly look like that sort of guy that, again, has the mentality to play for us. However, again, if Danny Rule wants him, then Danny Rule might just get him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this Josh Windass one. But one thing is for certain here, ladies and gentlemen, Rangers are wasting no time at all at the start of this summer transfer window. Shankland deal done, Dan Neil almost done, and of course Josh Windass also a target. Now, I know right now they're probably going to be identifying these players that they can get for frees, Shanklands, Dan Neils, getting them done before the World Cup. However, then we'll probably go into spending some money after the World Cup. That's usually when business happens in a World Cup year. But regardless of that, guys, I am interested to know what your thoughts are on these transfer stories down there in the comment section below. And as always, guys, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more, and we'll keep you up to date with all things this summer.